to Anxiety Makes Me Poop. How's everybody doing? I will wait for you to answer. Good. Hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's good. Hey, I've been on a way of life since last October, meaning diet and exercise, and I've been feeling really good. I haven't really had a lot of sugar. And of course, listening to Cassandra's story and what has happened with her this year, I've been really trying to be good as well so that we could all stay healthy and keep recording and all that. But I was on my way home from work today and I'm like, you know what? I want apple pie. And I went to the store and I bought apple pie. And as soon as I got home, I had a small, tiny little piece. So you know what? Treat yourself. Treat yourself. I did it. We can all do it. All right. Mine was like no sugar added, but it's still really sweet. It's got like lots of sugar in it. It was so good. Anyways, treat yourself. You deserve it. So I ran a race this past weekend. I ran with a friend out in Colorado. Absolutely gorgeous. It was a lot of hills the first 5 miles, just an incline that just kept going. And we had trained for it. It was no problem. We got it done. It was just an absolutely beautiful race. And because I actually don't normally post on my personal pages, but because I did, my algorithm started showing me all the runners that had accomplished amazing things for the weekend or the week or whatever. One post stuck out to me, and if you're my personal friend on my Facebook and Instagram, you know what I'm going to be talking about here. I saw a post recently where someone said a half marathon, which for those that don't run is 13.1 miles. This person said a half marathon is easy and that a mom can do it at Disney with her kids. In other words, it's no big deal. This person, I think, was an ultra runner. They ran 100 miles, 50 miles, maybe even 200. I don't know. I didn't even research them because I didn't care. And while everyone is entitled to their opinion, right? Fine. It's public. You put whatever you want out there. I don't give a crap. It really did make me think about how we talk about other people's accomplishments. And basically more so just for my learning. But I'm going to share it here, okay? The truth is, we never really know what someone is going through in their journey to wherever they're getting to, right? We don't know what it took for them to get there. We don't know the battles that they fought or maybe some setbacks that they had. Maybe we don't hear about all the days that they wanted to quit or didn't want to get up and train or whatever it is, right? With work, with an illness, with running, with sports, with whatever it is, relationships, right? It could be anything. And we don't know the things that they had to overcome in their mind just to make it to the start line or any starting line of whatever we're starting, right? Diet, exercise, work, new job, new relationship, new friendship, illness. Maybe you just found out that something's going on and you got to start going through treatment. We do not know what people are going through to get to that starting line, but we're all starting something. Pretty much every week we're starting something new and we're trying to get to that finish line, and we have a journey to the finish line. For me personally, I stepped away from racing for many years. I was dealing with mental health struggles, maybe some bad relationships, illness, surgery or two. And so I had to rebuild my strength, and it took me a couple years. There was a time when I wasn't even really sure what running was going to look like for me again. At one point, running was everything. This was before I wrote all the books and before we started the podcast. Like, I worked and I was a mom and a wife and I was a runner. That was my identity. But no longer. I have a lot more things. But at one point, I had no idea if I ever was going to get back to liking running again, loving running again, or standing at a start line. Okay. But this past weekend, after training for 2 years, I had surgery 2 Octobers ago. So almost 2 years ago, I've been strengthening and running and finally said, yep. My friend that I run with every Saturday said, why don't we do this race? It was a destination race in Colorado. I said, absolutely. I'm in. It was the best race of my life. And it wasn't because it was my fastest, because it's mountains, it was the Rocky Mountains, but because it was my healthiest, my happiest, and my strongest. And that's not a lie. Like, every step I took in that 13.1 miles, I thought to myself, you trained for this. This is good. This feels good. The altitude didn't bother me. elevation of climbing didn't bother, nothing bothered me. Going down the mountain didn't bother me, nothing. Every single picture I took from the photographers on the side of the road, I was smiling and waving. I don't think I ever can remember a race that it was like that. I was always worried about something. I always had something in the back of my mind. I would cry at the end because I couldn't believe that I even made it. I mean, I knew I was going to make it, finish this race, and do a great job. I just did. It was just amazing. It's like I needed 4 years off to find myself again. Every single mile meant something, or maybe it means something to you right now too. I trained for it. Maybe you worked for it. You trained for it. I showed up for myself. Maybe you show up for yourself. And there are so many other people out there doing the exact same thing. And there are so many other maybe runners doing the exact same thing at every distance. Sometimes we look at someone else's accomplishments and we think, that's easy. Oh yeah, I remember when I used to do those. Those were cute. Absolutely not. Because we only see the final result. We don't know how many years of work or struggles, fears, doubts, or the courage that it took for them to get to that starting line. And a finish line, let me remind you of this one, is never just a finish line. It represents a story. That's why there's race recaps. That's why there's interviews after sports games, right? That's why they go to the microphone to say, well, how do you think you did? You're reflecting on the journey, which is so cool to me. You know, when you go in for an interview for a new job and they say, well, why are you leaving your old job? And you say, well, it sucked. No, or you just say, hey, I'm just ready for a change. It's a starting line and it's also a finish line, right? You're finishing something, but you're starting something new, or a relationship. You go on your first date, or you get your first call or your text, or you swipe right or left, whatever that works on the apps. And you're like, let's give it a chance. Let's walk up to the start line and let's see if it's got a finish line, right? Or you just found out maybe you're sick. You got to start treatment. All right, I'm showing up. Next week we're starting treatment. I'm showing up to the start line. Looking forward to the finish line, right? It's whatever. But we don't know in between that start line and that finish line, the journey that the person is going through, because we are not them going through it every second of the day. Someone's first mile matters. Their first 5K matters. And finishing a half marathon matters too. Finishing a marathon matters. Finishing treatment matters. Getting into a new relationship matters. Starting a new job. The distance doesn't define the accomplishment. The journey defines it. So maybe we can be careful not to minimize what someone else has worked really, really hard for. Everyone's hard work looks different. Maybe we can celebrate people where they are, because we all have different starting points, different challenges, and different reasons why the finish line means so much. You never know what someone had to overcome to get there. And sometimes the biggest victory isn't being the fastest or the strongest or the smartest. Sometimes the biggest victory is simply finding your way back. Thanks for listening. Talk to you next time.